Class is in session. The Brofessor is in. What's up, y'all? We have another midweek boss battle. So in this video, I am going to go over the battle attributes. Then I'm going to go over the boss's abilities. Next, tell you who I think is going to be the best superstars to run and whom I hope you have several guys in your faction that have. Then I'm going to go over some discount players that could also do some damage, although they might not be the best. They're still going to help you out. And last but not least, the boss breakers are going to be necessary to win this boss battle. So let's get started. Bro time. So for this boss battle, we are going to have a couple of good attributes. So this time around, Scopely has given yellow gem damage as 800% more damage. So unlike previous boss battles, I know this sounds great off the top, but this means that they will do 8 times as much damage, whereas in the past they've given 8,000 or 5,000, so 80 or 50 times more. So this is going to be significantly less damage than we have seen before. So just keep that in mind. But 8 times more damage per yellow gem is going to be effective. And they've also increased the multiply gem strength. So we saw previously strengths below 10. So now we're going to get a strength by 14. So if you create a gem that is a multiply 6, it'll be added 14 to it to make 20 and so forth. So those are 2 of the battle attributes that we will get. In terms of the boss abilities themselves, so Montez Ford is going to deal up at the highest level, and I think it's going to be level 20. I don't think they'll do 30 like they did with the Royal Rumble. This is going to deal 3.75 million damage at the highest level, plus an additional 3.75 million per reinforced gem for a maximum of 1 on the player gem board. So if you have any reinforced gems left, you're going to have to pay the penalty, which is double the damage. So 7.5 million damage for that level 20 instead of 3.75. And this is going to mean that if you use somebody that has reinforced gems, you need to make sure you get them all off the board, as well as get all his off the board before the end of your turn. So someone like Zombie Lashley, whom, if you play correctly, shouldn't leave any, but this is just a warning that it will hurt you if you do. He's going to have a shield, and the shield will be on for 2 turns. So we will have 2 turns to break the shield. It is going to be 120 yellow gems, as it says there, and it will not be affected by boss breakers. So neutralize will not be a thing for this one as well. We are going to have to break it the old-fashioned way. And 120 yellow gems is going to be a difficult thing to get rid of, but that's why you have Zombie Lashley and others. And so for 1 turn, we are going to see the increased move point cost. So this will increase it by 10 points per turn for 1 player turn. Usually when we see this, it is every turn. And this is going to be at the highest levels, all of the moves. So all of them will have an additional plus 10 move points. So this is going to be costly, especially if we get to a turn 2. So the goal, as always, is to beat this on turn 1, of course. But is it going to be each turn all moves, or is it going to be 1 turn and then have a turn off and then another turn where it does that? That's to be seen. Lastly, modify 7 gems, 7 yellow gems. So 7 yellow gems will be turned into immobile gems. And then you're going to have to break those during your 60 seconds. Otherwise, you're going to have to pay the penalty of an extra damage that I had mentioned that he gets on each turn. So those are the boss's abilities. So each team is going to make sure that they have to have guys who can bust 120 yellow gems as fast as possible, but also you're going to have to contend, and hopefully you have guys that can deal with this right here, this added MP cost, which is going to make it very difficult, especially 10 move points is going to be absolutely hellacious if it's all three of them and if it's every turn. So, so this time around, we're going to have to look for guys who do not only yellow gem damage, but also who do multiply gem damage if possible as well too, to make up for the 800 and not 8,000% yellow gem damage. All right, so let's go take a look at who you can use. So like we'll take a look at who are the best players to use, and then we'll take a look at some discount players that might be useful. And then we'll check out the last but not least, the boss breakers that you should be using for this time around. So for focused superstars, you're going to notice that the best one to get in terms of making both of these, you're going to find that no superstar makes both the multiply and the yellow gems, but that actually is a lie. There is somebody who does actually both of these, and it's actually maybe the best one for this entire boss battle, and that's going to be someone I don't have. It's going to be Shinsuke Nakamura, the master of the Kinshasa. So let's take a look at his moves and see how you can run them most effectively. So for Nakamura himself, what you're going to end up using most likely is the inverted exploded suplex. You're going to choose the 4 gems to make into yellow, and it's this move that's actually going to do the majority of the damage. The landslide, so this is where you're going to get bonus damage for every yellow gem on the board, and then the Death Valley driver, which is the 6-star move. So you're going to actually have to have Nakamura at the 6-star, because it's going to take, it says the bottom row here, but I believe it's actually the bottom 3 rows turned into multiply gems, and it's not strength 2, and I think it's actually strength 5, so correct me if I am wrong. But that's going to make the multiply gems, and then you're going to get the bonus for the yellow gems. That's going to be times 800%, and then you're going to create yellow gems, blowing up as many of those multiply gems, and then you're just going to rinse and repeat. So I think Nakamura is actually going to be one of, if not the most powerful for this boss battle, for sure. So for the chaotic brand, and probably going to be one of the best, if not the best, is going to be the Hall of Fame Macho Man, and it's easy to really see why. I don't have him, but the moves that you would use for him are obviously going to be his finisher, where he chooses a 5x3 area to swap into yellow gems. And then you're obviously going to run the bionic elbow, and you're going to create the bottom rows into multiply gems. And then lastly, I would probably do the tricolor build, but you can also do one of these 2 moves right here. The Juggernaut gems are going to increase the strength of your multiply gem for 2 turns, and it's going to make purple gems into multiply gems at the end of the countdown as well. So it's easy to see why the Macho Man would be a deadly, deadly force in this boss battle. One of the best in the aggressive category is actually going to be Captain Lou Albano, to be quite sure. And if you don't know about Captain Lou, he was actually Super Mario in the show that was cartoon and real earlier on. So if you haven't seen Do the Mario, look it up on YouTube. Anyways, Captain Lou himself, he's going to, if you use his immobile gem moves set, it's going to do some damage in this one, and you're going to see that he's going to make, with his finisher, 25 immobile gems into yellow gems, so you're going to be able to keep reloading that move going. His big boot is going to choose gems to make into yellow gems, and I think you might actually only need to use that move. That's sort of a last case scenario. This suplex here is going to make 2 columns into immobile gems, so basically 14 gems into immobile gems, and that's level 1. I think it's actually 3 or 4 columns once it gets to 6-star, so that way you'll be able to get more from the finisher itself. But it's this move right here that is going to increase your yellow move damage, the crossbody right there. So you're going to use that yellow crossbody. I think you'd actually go triple yellow would be the way to go. With Captain Lou, increase your yellow gem damage, make immobile gems, destroy yellow immobile gems, rinse, and repeat. So Captain Lou is probably going to be the best one for your aggressive showboats. So what if you don't have Showboat Nakamura and you got to go into the discount bargain bin to look for someone to do some damage? Well, in the focus category, that might actually be Masters of the Universe Rey Mysterio. Now, I'm not saying he's going to do a ton of damage, but he might give you the option of actually someone to run with. And you could actually run him this way. So what you're going to do is you're going to load up on the blue. So you're going to use the springboard crossbody to put the Juggernaut gems down. You're going to get one of them. It's going to be a 4-turn Juggernaut, but each turn of that Juggernaut is going to increase gem damage, everything by 44% for 3 turns, and then you're actually going to heal for 500,000 at the end of that. So it's going to have some healing ability to keep you alive a little bit longer, to allow you to use your boss breaker. It also has a choose yellow move, as you see right here, and then the yellow is actually going to create blues, and hopefully it's going to recycle itself that way. So again, not the greatest of options. He doesn't make a ton of yellow gems, and he doesn't have any multiply gems, but he does have a gem increase that will increase the damage, however, only slightly. So if you're going to have to put somebody on the board, and remember that for this boss battle, you're going to want somebody to have the regeneration X, as I will mention later, to increase. That's somebody who could be Rey Mysterio. But again, discount bargain bin. Another discount bargain bin might be the King, although I would caution using the King because he's going to leave reinforced gems on the board and it's actually going to kill you faster. But using the moveset that I would normally use for him at 6-star, where you're going to choose to make a 7x3 into reinforced gems. You're going to swap a 4x2 random area into yellow gems. And then you're going to put the purple gems down. Now, what I would most likely do is actually take this body slam move right here and trade that out. So what can you trade it for? That's entirely up to you. I might put in the back body drop to get some cross break gems out there because you don't want any reinforced gems there at the end of your turn. So it really does limit what he can do, especially because it is reinforced gems damage that his gears use. So if you're not going to use the King in this position, who else can you use? Well, Seth Rollins could be another good discount bargain basement find, but most likely it's actually going to be KO. And I would recommend KO here with a Titan plate, who's going to give a lot more damage. And if you saw my previous video on KO using the sub build setup with blast gems, it would be something similar along those lines. So in the discount bargain basement prices of the aggressive, you're probably going to be looking to Zombie Lashley, which is somebody that most of us have. And if we do have them, he is someone that we have with some extra gear boost. So yellow gems are going to do 100% more damage if you got his gear. And at 5-star, this is usually how you would run them, where you would put the snowfall gems as well as with the red gems, and that would break all the reinforced gems that is made through the bite here, which goes down every turn. But at 6-star, you could also run him with the triple yellow, but that's going to be a little bit more difficult and time consuming, and I'm not sure it's going to work as well. But even still, if you just did this moveset right here, you're probably going to hit around 20 million for each cycle that you can get it through. And his moves take a long time to use, so it's going to probably be about 1 to 2 cycles, maybe at the very most. So not the best option, but this is something that many people are actually going to have as someone that you could use, at least be at least a little bit effective to your team. And the last one in the bargain basement is actually our Truth, the K Quick version, who I also have. So he would be your defensive striker if you didn't have, say, Z-Dom up as high as you would like him. So for K Quick, I would actually, if you have him up to 6-star, then you would run him with the black finisher, the Truth or Consequences, which creates a 3x3 area of multiply gems. But it is the Truth Conviction at 6-star here that would allow you to make multiply gems into black gems, and then you would take those black gems, put them into yellow gems, and so forth. So that is how I would run the K Quick. So I think he would be a good bargain basement option for you at the defensive. So of course there's a lot more in terms of characters that you can use in the bargain bin basement. But I tried to pick ones that would have either making a lot of gems that included some sort of gem damage boost as well, or had the multiply gems to add to that boost, because just yellow gem damage alone is going to help your team, but you're going to want a little bit more. So that's why I chose who I chose here. But there are lots of other guys that are out there as well too. Put some comments who you think might actually be better than the 4 sort of bargain ones that I picked here. Love to hear from you. So in terms of boss breakers that you're going to want to bring in for this boss, so if we go into the focused area, what you're going to want to use is the Regeneration X. This one doesn't have a freeze move. He doesn't have a reduce damage limiter, so regeneration is what you're going to need, especially when he's going to add 10 more move MP points. So this is going to, if you get it up to level 10, it's going to increase the amount of MP you get per match, and that is going to be very, very key. And if we look at the chaotic, so the boss breaker that you're going to want to use this time with neutralize being dead and the healer steal not doing anything, since this boss doesn't heal himself, its time is what you're going to want to do, so that way you can add some extra time. And if you get that up to level 10, the countdown again is still I think 100 seconds, but on turn 2 and beyond you'll be able to at least add some more time to what it is to each of your turns for you and your teammates. And if we look at the aggressive showboat, you've got 2 choices here, right? So you can either use the crack in the shield, or which is going to at least help you at least crack some of the shield and do some damage. But the other one that you could also use is exhaust, which is going to, and once you get it up to level 9 and 10, you can completely wipe out the damage coming from the boss himself if you have multiple people in your faction who have that going on. So 2 Bobby Lashleys with exhaust at level 10 will mean no damage coming to you and your teammates, and allow you to keep going, and they'll actually be pretty good at least in breaking the shield to allow those with the big characters, the big 3 as I've seen them, do some more damage. So that's what I would use. And lastly, the boss breaker for the defensive is, and usually always is, the helping hand. The tuning up the band I don't think does a lot, especially because it's move damage that it increases, and most of the bosses, the only way you beat them is not because your moves are doing more damage, it's because your gems are doing more damage. So I find that tuning up the band doesn't do a lot of good almost in any situation, and life in the fast lane might help out to get other teammates their boss abilities up, but everybody should have their boss abilities up, I guess, as high as they can get them. So I think helping out and healing your team and doing that every single turn when you get it up to level 10 is going to be key. So those are going to be the boss breakers that are going to be the most effective for this specific boss. All right, class is over. Thanks for showing up today to class. If you have any questions, my links are in the description where you can get in contact with me. If you think of any better superstars, put them in the description. If you want me to go into more detail, please send me a message and let me know, and I can preview some of these characters in their boss setups. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for coming. It really helps me a lot if you can get the word out there about the Brofessor. Class is over.